650s. McLaren had carefully picked out some of the smoothest roads in the south of England as part of the official drive route, but we used local knowledge to find some more typically crenellated British tarmac. At low speeds the LT feels very firm, even with the dampers left in their softest mode. The good news is that the chassis gets better as you add speed. It doesn't find more compliance, but the body control is outstanding over rougher surfaces and the resistance to roll under cornering is almost total. The steering feels very different, as well, with a quicker rack and revised front suspension geometry giving both faster responses and a noticeable increase in both weight and feel. Think where you'd like the LT to go and, before you can frame the thought, it's already heading there. Grip levels are predictably massive, although the track-focused Pirelli P0 Trofeos give their best only after being fully warmed up. The brakes bite with reassuring force, although bigger stops make the vast rear air brake pop up and completely obscure the rear view. The engine is more vocal than in the 650s, and cruising is fractionally louder, but it's still impressively composed at rapid highway speeds. The twin-turbocharged V8's relatively modest increase in output to 666 horsepower might suggest that little has changed over the 641 HP 650s. McLaren names its cars after their metric power figures. We convert the output to SAE ratings for publication. But, this being McLaren, the opposite is the case, with an extensive package of modifications designed to improve drivability and boost response. The LT gets a spark-cutting system to help enable the dual-clutch automatic transmission to deliver the fastest possible upshifts, and apparently some internal components of the 650s engine struggled to deal with the forces involved. There are lighter cams hafts and connecting rods as well as machined compressor wheels for the turbochargers. It doesn't rev higher than the 650s, sharing the same 8,500 RPM redline, but it is noticeably keener in the top half of its rev range and, as promised, gear changes are brutally fast, and they come with a fat bump of torque courtesy of McLaren's inertia push system. Track rating. We were only ever going to learn so much about the 675 LT on the road without being arrested, which is presumably why we were also given the chance to drive it on track at Silverstone. The home of the British Grand Prix remains one of the most miserable places in the world to go and see a motor race, with grandstands made from construction scaffolding and the permanent feeling that, even when it's not raining, it's about to. But for anyone lucky enough to find themselves on the other side of the barrier, it's one of the finest tracks in Europe to actually drive. The 675 LT couldn't be more at home here if it registered to vote and started paying taxes. It's supremely fast and accurate and seemingly unflappable even when asked to deal with a solid stint of high-speed lapping. Higher cornering loads reveal a predictably neutral handling balance, with the turned-up steering and that mid-engined weight distribution giving both a sharp turn-in and outstanding traction. With the stability control left on, there's very little slip, although it's possible to power the back of the car right to the edge of adhesion. Switching to the more permissive ESC dynamic mode allows the LT to reveal its hooligan tendencies with an unexpected amount of power oversteer before the system steps in. And yes, that's unexpected as in we spun. But you don't buy a car like this to pussyfoot around a circuit, you buy it to go flat out and to discover exactly where the limits lie, and then to find out what happens if you go a little quicker. Invest the time in getting to learn it, and it will make you feel like a hero every time you take it to the track. The LT demonstrates the breadth of ability within McLaren's core architecture. Dynamically, it's pretty much the diametric opposite of the original 12C, edgy and thrilling where that car felt composed and self-possessed. It's also the reason that nobody will be able to say that McLarens lack excitement ever again.